Well, aloha. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Paul Fletcher, and I am here with Dr. and Master Rulin Shu. Dr. Master Rulin Shu took a very important part of her very busy schedule to be on this interview today. So just a little bit about her before I bring her in. We'll ask her some questions about Tao science. So Dr. Rulin Shu is a PhD. She is a quantum physicist and a string theorist who has earned her doctorate from UC Berkeley back in 1994. She subsequently performed postdoctoral research at the Houston Advanced Research Center at the Lyman Laboratory of Physics at the Harvard University. So her life's work is the pursuit of the grand unification theory and explains the unification of all forces, matter, and space and time. So this is the breakthrough science that unifies science and spirituality at the most fundamental level. So forgive me, Dr. Lin, if I didn't do that introduction right, but we're so happy that you're here. Please, anything you'd like to share at this time as we get started?
Thank you so much, Paul. I'm so honored to be interviewed and so excited to share some of the breakthroughs in quantum physics and also grand unification theory about how we can unify the science and the spirituality together.
You have been teaching on this for quite a while now. You have 2 books and you've been running around the world lecturing to physicists, to doctors, to people in the spiritual communities.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about those experiences.
Oh, it's just amazing. Everywhere I go, I truly realized people are very excited. First, people in the spiritual leaders, they said that's what they are seeking. And also the scientists, although most scientists still have not realized this is a really, really important, very important piece for humanity, how to bring science and spirituality together. And this is a time, really urgent time to bring these 2 together. And everywhere I go, I truly see a lot of conflicts in the world. Either it is a war or some different religions are fighting each other, or or different communities. Like for example in Hawaii, the native Hawaiians are right now really fight against a scientific community to build telescopes on the Mauna Kea. And all of this is really the core issue is about how to bring science and spirituality together. And when we can really do this, there will be more love, peace, and harmony, and more abundance to humanity and to each one of us. And now, this is really a core issue right now.
So how do you encapsulate 2 books with that kind of wisdom in the next 15-20 minutes so our audience has an idea how we can use the science wisdom you have as a PhD physics professor and your depth of knowledge and spirituality? How can we bridge those 2?
Yeah, first is to realize that spirituality, actually what we discovered in my research is that spirituality, spiritual wisdom can be explained scientifically, can be calculated mathematically. So this is one of the biggest discovery and breakthrough in our research. So the spirit can be defined mathematically and calculated.
So for all those that say there's no such thing as a soul or life beyond this life, you can actually calculate mathematically that there is life, that soul does have tangibility.
Yeah, actually, from our research, we showed that we give a soul a mathematical definition, and also shows that everything has a spirit, has a soul. Of course, they have different levels of the soul. Some soul is more advanced, some soul is very primitive, very simple.
So, and that's also, you can see that in the math.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So that is very exciting when people truly understand this. And then, and then we can find our higher purpose and higher power and the higher abilities and the capabilities, and to live a life has more potentials, higher meanings, and with more powers. So you can live a life with more joy, more love, and more abundance, more possibilities, more freedoms. So it's very exciting for humanity at this moment.
Well, I have to say, I'm surprised. You said that the scientists are like, kind of like, okay, but that the people in the spiritual community, they're excited about it.
Yeah, yeah, they completely excited.
But that's really surprises me because I would think that the scientists would be very excited to have validation finally about the ability to unify something that has always been on the outskirts of proof for quite a
Mhm,
while.
mhm. Yeah,
So
I think,
I'm excited. Go ahead.
yeah. So what happens with scientists? They are stay in their scientific realm. A lot of them, they don't know much about spirituality. So they do not have not realized, the spirit, the heart, the mind is really, really played a very important role in our daily life, even in our physical life, in the actually even in the creation of the universe. So this
This
is
is
it's
this is
something, yeah,
huge.
it's something very, very deep and profound. A
Hmm.
lot of people have not get into um, the need to really understand this.
Hmm.
They still stay in a very one-sided, almost like they live in a the one dimension. They need to expand to the higher dimensions to live a full life.
So what are some of the ways that you're able to uh, validate? Let's say that there is a mentally scientific minded person watching this interview, right?
Mhm.
And they're thinking about coming to your event. I think you said you had an event in Belgium at the end of October. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity to interview you, by the way. And that's going to be exciting for all those people in Belgium. So let's say that you have somebody that's coming, that they're curious. They say, well, you know, uh, what would I get out of it? I spend 2 days. How is she going to impress upon me the, uh, the soul? And can I see any validation of any of this to prove from a scientific mind that soul exists, not just math? You say heart is a part of it. These things that are a little bit foreign to me, the scientific mind.
Mhm.
What can you say to me as a person that has that kind of perspective?
Yeah, yeah. From our research, is actually very simple. I think, up to now, scientists has been studying the matter. So that's define the matter as everything we touch, everything we hear, everything we measure, everything we experience in our daily life. That's the matter. And then also science study the energy, right? We can define the energy as something that moves and changes the matter. So, so matter is important, and so
Mhm.
the right now the current medicine is kind of focused on healing people's matter, right, the
Right, yeah.
body, and then and the energy is even more important because energy is what changes and moves the matter. So that's why Chinese medicine actually more focused on changing people's energy, heal
Right,
the
they do
energy
Tai
block.
Chi and Qigong, things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Even meditation
Right,
and yoga, it's really trying to move the energy.
right.
But then what we find in this science is that there's a third very important element in everything, including physics. The third most important element is the information.
Oh,
So we live in the information age, right? So everybody know how important information is. We have computer, we processing information, we have internet to transport information and spread it all over the world. And suddenly, the way we live suddenly changed because of the information. But a lot of people have not realized information is also stored, not only in our DNA, which determines, every aspect of our lives, but also this information is stored in our vibrational field. And this information determines how we feel and what we're thinking, what we're experiencing in our relationships, in our jobs, in our careers.
Is that the same as the mind?
So mind is one aspect about information. So mind is processing the information. Our brain, or computer, like a computer is processing the information. But the information actually has three aspects, what we find. Information, one is processing information. Another very important aspect is the content of the information. Yeah, like a memory, right? What kind of a memory is in your computer? What kind of data is in your computer? It's also very important. Second aspect about information is what kind of information you can receive. So think about TV or radio. You have antenna, right? And this TV antenna is receiving the information, the vibrations that carries the information from the TV station or radio station. And then you can, if the radio or TV can receive this data, and then it can play the program, about this information.
Okay.
So
And so
receiver also very, very important.
Okay.
And also the content information, obviously, also very, very important.
And these are different than the mind.
Yeah, exactly. So that, there are different aspects about the information. So if you only have mind, but if you don't receive the information, like radio, right? If you don't have antenna to receive the information, then you can have the radio process the information, but if you don't have information receiving the information, then you still cannot play the program. Okay. Right? And same thing with the TV. So receiver of the information is extremely important. And also, so what we find that the receiver of the information is a spiritual heart, because in a spiritual test, they often talk about the heart. Heart is very important. Like in the Bible, it says, be mindful, very careful about your heart, because everything is flow out of it.
So in this wisdom, if I'm reading your book, it seems that the soul, correct me if this is wrong, carries all this information in its field, and then the spiritual heart is the receiver of that information.
Yes.
And then the mind, is that correct?
Yeah. Okay. So when you have this, when you understand this, then you can define what is the soul, what is spirit, what is spiritual heart, and what is mind mathematically.
Oh,
and
that's
then
a very
suddenly you can use
important
quantum
definition
physics to actually calculate them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think what's relevant to me, if I was a person that was stuck in the mind, world, it'd be like, okay, there's information outside of me that's affecting my heart, and that's impacting my mind. That's all new information to me if I'm a person that's an intellectual.
Right. So from this, you will know, like, wow, the heart is very important. If you do not receive the information, then your mind cannot really process anything useful, right?
Okay. And information can be either positive or negative, right?
Right. That's another breakthrough in our research. We're able to define mathematically what is positive information and what is negative information. So that, and we show that the life is based on the positive information. The life is actually something the whole purpose of life, and also what makes life, is because of the positive information. And all the life is trying to enhance and to create more positive information.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
that
very
sounds like
exciting, all
worthy of
this
spending some
new
time
stuff.
with.
Yeah.
So, when somebody comes to one of your weekend events, I
Mm.
know that you do a lot of practices and explanation, and also you incorporate, I believe, things from your Tao Science book,
Mhm.
some of the special calligraphies to help people rebalance their imbalances. I'm not quite sure how to explain that.
Yeah, so that's what this workshop is about. Because, like I said, most people they live a life only on the material level, but they have
Uh-huh.
not fulfilled their full potential, and they have not have bring all the elements they already have into life. And so this workshop we really teach people how you can use your soul power, your heart power is actually the manifestation power, and the mind is trying to process, and the soul is actually soul power is extremely magical. If you really can know this power is right within you, and starting to know what they are, and starting to learn how to utilize it and how to integrate them together, suddenly you can live a life in a 360 degrees, live a fuller life with more joy and more magic, more creativity, more enjoyment, and more freedom. You can go in more places, have
So it's
so much
like
more
going from
fun.
a black TV to a color TV in life.
Exactly, it's much more. Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to think about it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's more
yeah.
sense around. So it's like you can hear sound in one ear, but all of a sudden you have stereo. All of a sudden you have a much higher, better, not only a comprehension, but a way to apply it in your life that brings out so much more color and enjoyment and potential.
Exactly. So suddenly you can do more things and in a better way and faster, and has more joy and more joy and love when you're doing it.
And this
You
is
know?
because if I'm able to kind of complete this process, it's because you have a much clearer understanding of what positive or negative information, where it originated from, how it impacted your heart, how it impacted your mind, which then of course impacts, your life. And so by you explaining this in a scientific and a spiritual manner, you're able to assist people to process through their life conditions or problems in a much more efficient manner and a much more enjoyable manner, it sounds like.
No, it's not only that, it's at a higher level, because most
Okay.
people they're working on the matter level, which is the lowest level.
Okay.
Although some people now they how to, you know, um, manipulate their physical levels through the energy, but that's still not the highest level. The highest level is, so then some people now talking about the mind level. So let's go a little bit further. But
Uh-huh.
actually, even higher level is the heart. But even
Uh-huh.
higher than that is the soul. So
Right.
if you can really, all five is important. So if you know how to utilize all the powers, and also how to integrate them together, suddenly you become so powerful, and you can evolve with your life and your creation, take your creation manifestation of life to the next level.
Wow. That's like all that needs to be said right there. Because
Yeah.
that really puts a little thumbprint right on it. That's excellent.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Like I
very
said,
exciting. I suggest everyone. I think this is the next level of evolution for humanity.
that's
You
not a
know,
small statement, is it?
yeah, it's really is. So the more you learn about this, the sooner you starting to utilize to live you out of your full potential, and live, um, at the higher level of your existence.
Wow. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking time from your busy schedule. I know you're jumping around the world and doing lots of events and speaking at lots of colleges and locations. So I know that Belgium is very excited to have you visiting. They're very active. They asked me to jump in and do an interview because we speak the same language. They speak Dutch over there. But I'm grateful for you taking the time to have this interview, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to visit Belgium. Belgium has amazing history in the science, development of science. So I'm still looking forward to share all these wisdoms and also learn from the people in Belgium. So I will see you there.
Thank you. And for those
Thank you.
that are wondering, it's you can take a look at the Belgium website. They'll list it at the end of the video. It's October 26 and 27, a Saturday and Sunday. It's a special time with Dr. Rulin. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you soon.